Turn Up the Talk would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land this podcast is recorded on, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. We acknowledge their connection to lands, waters, and community. We honour and recognise the wisdom, compassion, strength, and resilience of elders and the stories they share with us, in hope for greater understanding and care for the lived experiences of First Nations community in Australia country.
Turn Up the Talk podcast, tackling mental health together.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Turn Up the Talk. Lockie, bit of a jungle theme, mate. What's doing?
Yeah, I'm liking it. Between Two Thorns vibe.
Yeah, I know, I do. You know what? It's nice. It tickles my neck a little bit.
Yeah, lovely. So, Paddy, special guest today.
Yes.
Up and comer. Obviously, our third member, who is also an up and comer athlete, is stuck in paradise. He likes to refer it to Parramatta. He's still training, but interested. Really keen for this one.
Yeah, I am, mate. Firstly, how are you? What's been going on?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. School's back, week 4. Getting into the groove, and then about to settle on my place.
How long's it take? Oh yeah, you got a new place.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So we're about to settle in a couple of weeks' time. So that will be nice.
As in, like, move in. Is that what you mean?
No, yeah. So
like the whole payments.
All the payments done, and then we're going to rent it out for a year, and then...
Don't you have to live in it first?
No.
Or you didn't do that? That's if you get the 10%
yeah.
stamp duty. You're saying, wow, so you're really rolling in the money. You never do that.
Yeah, mate.
Nice. Alrighty, let's get into it, eh? Ben Donaldson, welcome to Turn Up the Talk, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks, boys. Thanks for having me. Yeah, very well. How are you, boys?
Mate, I'm better, not as good as him, sorry. He's fucking rolling in, just bought a house, he doesn't even do 10% stamp duty.
That's why I don't bring things up. Donno, season, what's going on at the moment?
Yeah, so Waratahs season, Super Rugby's finished up now. So we had a good season, made the quarterfinals, first time for a couple of years now. So that was a good season with the boys. And now back at Randwick, back in the clubland. Just made the finals, finished third. So got Sydney Uni this week, been back there now for about a month. So yeah, loving it down there at Coogee Oval.
What are your thoughts for the finals? A lot of players coming back from Super Rugby, or?
Oh, most boys are already back. So fair few clubs got a few boys back. But honestly, the comp this year's been all over the shop. Last place beaten first place and so forth. So could be anyone.
I was about to say, lucky I didn't. Here's the first union player we got on, but we got Peachy on. But he was 7s at the time. So first 15 the side player whilst we're talking to him.
Yeah.
15s now.
Yeah, cool.
He's a Wixman as well, but he's injured at the moment. So
what's he done?
Something to his hammy.
Okay. Was that in Australia,
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. What about, obviously Darren Coleman, new Tahs coach, came in this year. What was the changes like? Obviously, the previous coach, there was a lot of fallout, things like that. The results weren't too good. What's the biggest changes you've seen this year with the club?
Firstly, I think DC is just such an emotional guy. He wears his heart on his sleeve. You know, one thing he did, he got all of us in throughout pre-season onto a chair, and you had to speak about life experiences, hardships, everything, and probably 90% of the boys started crying, and he started crying when he was speaking as well. And from the first bit, what he did there, I think everyone kind of thought, yeah, all right, like he's trying to build us closer. And obviously last year we didn't win a game for the Tahs, so people probably thought from the outset, you know, they're going to fracture, they're going to fall apart, but we kind of stayed close, which was good. And that was DC's main passion, you know, bring us even closer. And from that outset, just his emotional connection with everyone, I think everyone really, really brought on board. Plus, he brought some new recruits in, which helped, some older heads back in the mix. But yeah, I think that emotional piece was really special for the boys.
How's the battle been for you? Obviously, with Tane and Harrow earlier on. What's that like, sort of going to training every day and, you know, knowing that you got to sort of put it over one person in particular for that spot?
It's an interesting one. Obviously, we're all like best mates as well, which you don't get very often. And usually, you know, most positions have someone who's older who you can learn off and gain experience off, whereas us three, it's all young boys. But, it is tough when you come in and you know you're all fighting for that same position. At the same time, it's good because we're always working together, working hard together. We hang out off the field and stuff, which helps the club as a whole. But yeah, it is a bit weird sometimes, as you would expect. You know, you're training against each other, internal trials, you know, you're versing each other. And as much as you want to see your mate succeed, you really do want to put it over them. And then I guess selection-wise, when they get picked, you're happy for them, but it hurts when you don't get picked. And because we're all the same age, we're not going to be able to all stick around forever. So we know that one of us kind of has to make strides soon, and that'll be the man for the next, could be 10 years. So yeah, it is a weird one, but at the same time, we kind of like it as well. So
You say that it's a young dynamic where you got three of you pretty much, well, you are all the same age. You don't really have that leader to turn on, and you just spoke about the team, and it looks like you're starting to get a real good culture there. And obviously you've got leaders in that. We won't talk about the personal side. Obviously a lot's been happening with Michael Hooper, but we won't go into that. But what about him as a leader? What's he bring to that whole squad?
yeah, Hoops is massive. I think we saw it. He was away for last year, maybe even the year before, in Japan to get away, which is good for him. And ever since he's been back, you can just tell why he's the captain of the Wallabies, why he's played 120 odd tests. Just off the field, he's just a normal bloke, like loves a laugh, loves a yarn with the boys. But once you're talking about footy off the field, he'll ask you questions. He'll try to pick your brain as well, which is pretty cool coming from someone of that caliber. And then on the field, if you make a mistake or you pick an option and he might not think it's the right one, he'll question you about it. He'll review it. He'll pick a clip and come to you personally. Like, just so professional. Even the way he preps for training, cools down after training. Like, it's just, I've never seen it before from someone, and I guess that's why, like I said, he's the Wallabies captain and played so many games.
And what about for your particular position? Who do you kind of go to? Is it someone from another club? Is it someone from Randwick? Who do you bounce your own number 10 and 15 kind of ideas off?
I've spoken a bit to Bernard Foley. Obviously, I trained a little bit as I came out of school, and he was in the mix.
Yeah.
He was really helpful. And we've flicked a few texts back and forth this year and last year, which has been really good. And also Kurtley Beale, he's back in the mix with us now. And just like Hoops, he's so professional, so much knowledge, and he's played 10, 15 Ranger positions. So yeah, probably those two guys.
Coming out of school, it's obviously been good mates with you. It's been hard at times to watch things that have happened and eventuated. But coming out of school, talk us through the last couple of years. Obviously, COVID was big in terms of you're in that sort of that in-between phase of the bubble where you couldn't play Shoot Shield, but you weren't getting picked for the Tahs. Injury, form. How has it sort of been an introduction into professional athlete life?
Yeah, like you said, it has been a weird one, obviously with COVID. So finished school, kind of had a year just in Colts with you, great year, won the comp. But yeah, then kind of got into a development contract for a couple of years, which was awesome, just training in pre-season, like I said, with Bernard and Kurtley and these kind of guys. And then, COVID hit when I was in the squad when I could have been playing. And then we weren't allowed to go back and play club because we were in a bubble, which sucked. Couldn't go out, couldn't do anything. It was just Tahs home. And when you're not getting picked for the Tahs games, because that was still going on, there's not much you're doing. You're just training kind of for the sake of it. Like, we didn't know what we were training for. But yeah, that went on for a little bit. And then when COVID kind of settled down a bit, I made my debut against, who was that against? The Force at the SCG, which is pretty special. SCG, special place. And yeah, ever since then, it's kind of been either starting or on the bench behind Harrow, who started, one of my good mates as well. And yeah, ever since then, it's just been working hard. A few injuries, like you said, mainly during pre-season. Tore my quad a couple of times, tore my groin, my calf, a lot of soft tissue injuries. Don't know how I got skinniest legs ever.
Chicken legs.
Yeah, I know. But besides that, it's been pretty cool. Like, straight out of school, not many kids get offered a contract and to train with people, like I said before. So yeah, just grinding away at the moment and see what happens.
What was that debut night like? Do you go in do the Waratahs use the traditional sheds at the SCG?
Unfortunately not.
No. So what about that whole night though?
There goes that question.
There goes that question. Because I know I was at a Roosters thing the other day and they were speaking about, because they use the traditional shed, they were just talking about the history of it all. And just even being in there listening is pretty cool. I couldn't imagine getting ready there and running out. Anyway, next question. What about the debut night? Take us through it. I mean, like you said, we've had the chance to play together through school and whatnot, and seeing your journey is amazing. And then to go to that big stage, it's something you've obviously always dreamed of, and you had those rough periods. And then when you finally get there, what are you feeling? Is it excitement? Obviously, there has to be some nervousness. What are you feeling?
Yeah, no, it was a weird one because I actually got picked the week before to debut against the Reds up at Suncorp. Suncorp, another pretty cool place to debut. But the game was tight and I didn't end up getting on. So I was shattered, as you would be. But like, my family and stuff couldn't make it up. So I was kind of like, maybe next week at the SCG. The chance came, got about 20 minutes at the back end. My mates, my family, everyone was there.
Yeah, so it aligned.
So it aligned really pretty well, firstly, yeah. And then Yeah, very nervous, but also very excited. Like I knew I was coming off the bench, so I'm probably only going to get 15, 20 minutes. So I just went out there and had a bit of fun, did my thing. We won, which was good. But like I said, the SCG, that's a pretty special place to debut. Yeah. Unfortunately, it wasn't in those traditional sheds, but like running out there to warm up, just like looking around, all the nerves kind of went away as I got out there because just such a special place. I just took it all in, more excited than anything. But yeah, it was a very special night.
And then personally, you've since then grown. You've just come back from Fiji for Australia A.
Yep.
So you've just kind of taken off, really. I mean, to go from debuting a couple of years ago to then stepping in to Australia A is kind of a big deal. What do you think your personal game? How have you developed that?
Yeah, I think I guess just playing footy helps. Like everyone always says it, but especially as a fly half, the only way you're going to get better is by playing minutes, solid minutes. And yeah, like I said, injuries, coming off the bench doesn't help when you're a 10 because you might only get 10, 15 minutes and you can't really get into a game, control the boys around. But this year and last year, I started majority of the games at 10. And yeah, I guess playing 80 minutes every week, you get those combos with the boys inside, outside you. And yeah, a bit of form came around and then made the Aussie A tour, which was pretty cool. Started 2 of the games over there and yeah, it was good fun.
Another sort of milestone, which we didn't mention, was early this year in Wallabies camp. Talk us through that.
Yeah, it was a very special one. Like I said, I started the year playing some good footy, starting for the Tahs at 10, and there's a bit of a shortage at 10 at the moment in the country. There's about 4 or 5 of us around 22, 23, and then 2, Quade Cooper and James O'Connor, who are 30-odd, so there's a big difference in age in that position. So we always kind of knew that they were going to pick 1 or 2 young boys in that initial squad, and yeah, I was playing some decent footy and didn't really hear anything from any of the Wallabies coaches. We knew the squad was coming out, and then came out on Instagram and my name was in it. Pretty weird way to find out, but I think someone actually sent it to me. I hadn't seen it. Someone sent it to me on Instagram and it popped up and I was like, alright, like this is gun. And then yeah, that was special. And the camp was only a 4-day camp, so it was only just to get in and get it fitted for all the kit and stuff, have meetings and meet the squad for the England tournament that just recently happened. So there wasn't much training, and I actually injured my calf the day before that, so it was a bit bittersweet, but it's just cool to be in there with all the boys and meet the squad, and roomed with James O'Connor, which was pretty cool. Learnt plenty of knowledge off him and heard some pretty cool stories as well, on and off the field, but yeah, no, it was a really, really special experience.
Were you wigging out when they sent it to you? Like, how long after you read it were you thinking, "Fuck, is this a typo or something"? How long until you were contacted after that?
Yeah, so I was just at home, and I knew it was coming out around the time, but I hadn't heard anything, so I was like, "Oh, maybe I haven't made it." And then I can't remember who it was. Someone sent it to me on Instagram, and I looked at it twice, and then my dad must have seen it. He was out, and he called me, and like. Yeah, very special. But yeah, I literally thought it was a typo because I hadn't heard anything.
That's bizarre.
Crazy.
Eh?
Yeah.
That is
only
bizarre.
only the national team.
I swear that's happened for the Blues or something once.
Yeah.
Something
crazy.
Like fuck, how do you fuck that up? Seriously.
I don't know. But apparently they were only calling boys or letting boys know who didn't make the squad.
Yeah.
Who were like on the fringe, just saying like, yeah, you were close, but keep working on this.
Yeah.
And then the boys who made it, they obviously wanted to try and make it a surprise, which it was. But yeah, then I heard from Dave Rennie maybe a couple hours later, just said, congrats, like you're playing well, see you in camp in a few weeks. And yeah, that was a very odd way, but yeah, it was a great surprise.
Moving towards like the mental side of things, with being in that sort of environment and then the Tahs with DC, what do you do mentally to prepare? What's it look like week in, week out, the night before, day before?
I've changed a lot over the past couple of years. My biggest one is just having a weekly plan. So Sunday night, I'll sit down Monday through to whatever the game is, Saturday, and just plan out my whole week. So what I need to do on the field, but off the field as well, to get my head away from footy. So it might be uni or go for a swim or have a coffee with my mate or just whatever. That's probably the biggest one for me. But then, like I said, it's just trying to get my head away from footy when I can, because obviously it's a full-time job. That's what you're doing. That's what you're meant to be doing. 24 hours of the day. So, we're in there probably till 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. So those hours from 4 till 10, just try and get out of footy. Do maybe review the session quickly, but then go home, watch a movie, hang out with my missus, see a mate. Like if you're thinking about footy all night and then you're going in the next morning, it just drains you. Like a couple of years ago when I started at the Tahs, that's all I was doing. I was like, yeah, I'm in this environment. How cool is it? But you'd never, I guess, clock off. So yeah, that's probably my main thing, just the weekly plan and then try switch off as much as I can when I'm outside of it.
So you felt drained after, so you were going in there constantly thinking, as you would, as a young kid's coming in, you're thinking, what can I do? You're constantly thinking, how can I improve? Comparing yourself, I'd say, to the players who you're competing against.
Yep.
When did it get to the point where you were like, fuck, this is not good, like I need to actually switch off and it really is draining me? When did you notice that?
Probably during pre-season. It would have been a couple of years ago, I think, because obviously pre-season is really tough, toughest training you do in a whole year, in any sport. And yeah, like I said, I was young, and that was pre-season leading into my first year of like a full contract. So I was like, might be a shot here to get a few games. And you train so hard, and then all the training's filmed. So I'd go home and watch it and review it, and you'd make a mistake, and you'd be thinking about it. Oh, tomorrow I can't be doing that because then I won't get picked. Like just back and forth, and because pre-season's so hard, some mornings you'd wake up and you go, oh, don't really want to go in today. Like, do not want to do these tackles with these big boys or do the running or whatever it is, and it's 30 degrees. And everyone's probably in the same state. Like, it's pre-season, it's tough, but sometimes during the season as well, that does happen. You just wake up and you're like, a bit mentally drained because it's the same thing. It's the same thing every week. You've got your plan outlined for you. You know what you're doing. You're training every day. So you can get stuck in the cycle of just going in there, training, coming home, not trying to, I guess, it's a hard one. Like I said before, in pre-season, you're trying to improve and impress to play. Then during the season, when you do get picked, you're kind of in the cycle of, I'm getting picked now, I'm sweet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess you do get, your brain does go a bit crazy sometimes, but I think, like I said, that's why I try to get away from footy as much as possible, because then you're fresh the next morning, you're excited to go back in, just stuff like that.
Well, what's the system like if you do wake up one morning and it's just, fuck, I'm just not feeling it today? Is it a system where you can walk in and just say to the coach, listen, mate, I'm feeling a little bit off today? Or have they got things in place where you can go speak to people? What's that like?
Yeah, they do. I've never done that before, but like with DC, our coach now, like I said, he's so in touch with everyone, so personally, so individually. So he's big on, if you're not feeling well, come talk to me. If you need to chat about anything, come talk to me. And then we've got a personal development manager, Charlotte, who kind of looks after all that mental health side of stuff, looks after uni, like everything off field, and she's in every day as well. So if anyone ever has a problem, go talk to them. You can, if you don't want to go in, call them. Like they'll have a chat. They're very flexible in the way how they manage boys, because obviously you want boys turning up wanting to train well and be fresh and stuff. So yeah, it's a pretty good environment in that sense. Yeah,
a lot of athletes sort of derail when they get injured, especially if, like, and I know you said before you've been doing uni, you got stuff other way. Talk us through those sort of periods where you've been injured. Like, what are you thinking mentally? How are you feeling? How tough is it?
Yeah, it is tough. Like I'd never really been injured, like coming through school, Colts, bit of grade, under 20s, like no major injuries. And then one of the pre-seasons tore my quad day one in testing. So obviously, like I said, pre-season, you want to prove yourself and stuff. So I was out for about 8 weeks. And being pre-season, my mindset initially was like, damn, I can't, prove myself, this and that. And then just worked hard for the first 4 weeks, maybe trying to get big, talk to coaches, like watch the boys train, figure out what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. Because as a 10, that's pretty important. And then I was only about halfway through the rehab, and then you kind of go like far out. This is draining. Like, what if you don't get back? Like the boys are training, you're not. It does get very draining. But yeah, then I actually did my quad again. Got back from that injury, did my quad again, and I knew it was going to be another 8-week injury. And yeah, it's just, I guess the hardest part is probably watching the boys train, because you want to be out there as well, watching them play. When they go out, when they travel, like you're just sitting at home watching on TV. There's nothing you can do. So it is tough. But I guess having a close support network around you is really helpful. Like my girlfriend was really good, my family was really good, friends, even the boys at training, coaches and stuff like that. That's what gets you through. It's the same in every sport, but yeah, like I said, I didn't have many injuries, and then those two happened, and then got into some form, played some good footy, and then tore my groin. This is all in the same year. And then, tore my groin, and so I couldn't play the last 4 games, couldn't play any club footy. And by then, you kind of start thinking, am I doing something wrong? So then it affects what you're doing outside footy. You might stop drinking or stop going out with your mates because you're worried about you're going to drink or you're going to do something wrong. So it does affect, not just footy, but outside as well. But like I said, I was very lucky with a close support group. They kind of helped me out through those injuries.
That's a really good point. I think no one's really brought up before, like how it affects athletes socially.
Yeah.
Everyone just thinks athletes are just like, oh yeah, like you said, it's work, and it's like, oh, they'll be all right, like
part of the job.
But it's like it would really make you second guess everything that you do, everything that you think, and it could get yourself stuck in a rut.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Agreed.
What are your plans for this year? So obviously you got Shoot Shield.
Yep.
Are you a chance for a Wallabies squad call up or?
Oh, I don't know. I'd like to think so.
Put your money on it. I'd be putting my money on it.
Is there a market for it?
$1, mate. $1.
Obviously, with Quade Cooper getting injured on the weekend, it's bad for Australian rugby, but it probably does open a door for another 10 to be called in. They've got a couple there. So, I don't know what they're thinking. I haven't had any contact with them, but, obviously very hopeful. They've got, I think, 9 more games this year, so there's plenty of footy to be played. My phone's on if Dave Rennie wants to give me a call. But I'll just keep playing well for Wicks and hopefully go deep into the finals, and then who knows, if something happens, I'd love to.
What about the next few years? What do you think? Obviously, there's a World Cup in France next year. Where's your mind up with that?
Yeah, obviously.
Goal?
Yeah, massive goal, I've got 1 more year at the Tahs, so hopefully get the 10 starting jersey back, play some good footy there, and then, hopefully make my way into the Wallabies. That's a short-term goal, make the World Cup. But then there's obviously the British and Irish Lions touring in 2025, I think, and then a home World Cup in 2027. So they're 3 goals that I'd love to be a part of. The steps to get there is just keep training well, get back starting for the Tahs, and then if I play some good footy, it should work its way out from there. So,
all right, we're going to go into a couple fan questions. So one is about the World Cup, which we just covered. Another one is from Ben Young, Ben.Young, and that is, what advice would you give to a young athlete?
I think my biggest advice would probably just be enjoy yourself. Obviously work hard and take it all seriously, but just enjoy yourself, whether that's professional or you're just playing amateur with your mates or whatever it is. I think the more you enjoy yourself, the better you play. That's what I've found. When I'm having fun and I'm enjoying waking up, going to training and stuff like that, like I spoke about, you end up playing better, and then it just makes everything so much better. You don't have bad games, and then you're all head noisy for the next few days and stuff like that. So just enjoy yourself. Sport's not around forever. It's probably a short period where you're going to be playing sport in your life. Yeah. So you may as well make the most of it. So the more you have fun, the better it'll be. You're
actually probably in a rare position where I don't know. You can't say that because I don't know. But a lot of athletes wouldn't be studying whilst doing their sport.
I think a lot have to. Do you have to study?
We don't have to, but our PDM, who I was speaking about before, they kind of, I guess, encourage it and try to get you to do it. It's not compulsory. It might be in other teams and sports, but there is a lot more who are starting to do it now.
How have you found that? Because obviously, like you said, you got a big game. That's all you're going to be thinking about all week.
Yeah.
But then it's obviously a good sort of thing to take your mind off that game and footy. But how have you found that for the last couple of years?
Yeah, it is difficult. I was lucky straight out of school. I knocked off about almost 2 full years of my uni degree before I started. What's
your degree?
Sport and exercise management.
Yeah, so
UTS. So it ties in a little bit. But it is tough. Like you said, your main focus is rugby because that's your full-time job and you want to do well and everything like that. But like at the moment, I'm really struggling. I'm trying to enroll in subjects, but our only day off is Wednesday, and the subjects I want to do or can only do are only on Tuesdays or Mondays.
Sure, you get a bit of leeway or nah?
Yeah, you try to.
Yeah.
UTS, help me out. But it is tough. And like you said, when you got big games coming up and you got an assignment due that weekend, or like if you win a game and you want to go out and celebrate and you got an exam the next day, like it is tough. But like I said, the off-field stuff is just as important as the on-field stuff. for your life, mental, everything. So it's good. I'm glad I'm doing it, and it's good that more athletes are starting to do it. You just got to find the right balance, and then it all works out.
We got a world. Is the World Cup in 2027 here or
Yeah.
2028?
27.
2027.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 2022. Yeah, that would be sick.
5
in
years.
Australia.
That would be unreal.
And that would be all around, eh?
Yeah.
Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, probably
Adelaide.
Perth.
They're going to
Yeah.
Adelaide.
Will they build new stadiums, you reckon? Nah. Maybe at Leichhardt, just fix the fence.
Oh, how about that?
New railings.
Good thing it was Joey's kids.
Oh my
I'm joking.
God.
Couldn't have happened to
I'm
few
not.
better people. Nah, that was pretty brutal.
Yeah,
eh?
that was cruel.
But that, like on the topic of it, how good was that though? Like seeing that
Oh,
for
the
like
seeing the
schoolboy
crowd.
rugby,
that
like
was sick. What, how many was it? 17,000 or something?
15, 17,000.
Close
That
to
was
20,
awesome.
yeah.
That was bigger than most NRL
And the
games.
Joey's kids are all in the grandstand singing stuff
Yeah.
after the game.
It's such a good look for it.
It's unreal.
How do you get that in more schools, do you think? I mean, GPS just do it so well.
You
eh?
need-
Yeah, they've always done it.
You
Yeah.
need cash money, eh?
Cash
Yeah.
money
Some
to
rich
hire out
fellas.
Leichhardt Oval.
Yeah, what the fuck? How much would that cost?
Crazy, eh?
That's nuts.
I'm pretty sure one of their grounds that they were meant to play at was under renovation or was too wet or something. That's what I've heard at least. And then so they've moved it out there.
Come down to Queen's Park, mate.
Yeah. I reckon
GP.
Queen's Park will cost more
Place
to
to be.
rent
100%.
than Leichhardt. I reckon. Don't you? Leichhardt doesn't have divots or a cricket pitch in the
Or
middle
dog
of it.
poo in the middle
Or
of
dog
it.
poo,
yeah.
a cricket pitch, what else?
pure-
Got everything.
pure
Golden
mud.
Staff. We've had a few
Golden
Golden Staff incidents down there.
Oh, good.
Where would be your dream packed stadium to play at?
I've only ever played at one packed stadium. That's Leichhardt, not even a stadium, but we packed it out this year, which was
Yeah.
That looked sick. when you-
unbelievable. Like
Sunday Arvo games.
good atmosphere. It's all so close.
I don't think they played on Sunday. Although
No,
once,
we did once.
We
Yeah.
did once.
Yeah, fuck yourself.
all the packed out ones
Yeah,
on
well, guess
Saturday
what?
night. You
I wish you
fuckhead.
were there standing on the fence, you gronk.
Oh god. But yeah, gee, that's a good question. I hate to play at stadiums like SCG, those massive ones. Even if you pack them out,
Is it fucked kicking with the circle?
it wigs
Is it
you out.
free out? Because heaps
Sometimes
of
you
people
can't
say
even
that.
see the lines, and then it's so out of proportion because the stadium's so far away and the circle. Yeah, it's real weird. It's real weird.
So Leichhardt the favourite so far.
So far in my career, yeah. Suncorp would be pretty cool. Like that's all pretty close as well.
Yeah.
Like relative to where people are seated, and it's a massive stadium.
You got the new stadium, which will be your home ground. That would be
Allianz.
sick.
Hopefully, we pack that out one day. That's what DC, our coach, is. That's his next goal is to pack that out
Yeah.
and get pubs and stuff all in blue.
Surely
And
be a chance for that opening game.
hopefully,
Like-
the way we've gone this year, if we
Yeah.
keep winning,
Yeah.
I think rugby's on the rise again, especially with the World Cup coming back. That would
Yeah.
be that would be very special having that packed out. Obviously, being a Sydney boy, and
Yeah. That would be
Um,
packed out every game for the World Cup, surely.
oh, you'd think so.
Yeah.
You'd
I
think
remember
so.
2014 Waratahs game, Brumbies. That was packed.
Was that the final?
Semi-final.
Semi-final. I think I was at
That
game,
was
yeah.
packed.
Was it there?
And that was mad. Yeah, the final was at ANZ, but the semi-final was at
Yeah, it
Allianz. And I remember like
Yeah.
Skelton,
Mm.
Will Skelton made like this run.
He set up Bernard Foley, I think,
Yeah.
last try.
And that's the.
Yeah,
I don't think I've
yeah.
ever been at a stadium like it. It was just nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be cool to play in front of a full house there. I
Yeah.
think it's
Because you're like you said, everyone's on top of you.
yeah, and I think it's only 40 odd thousand as well. Like compared to some of the other stadiums
Yeah.
in Europe and stuff, they're 80 odd thousand.
Yeah.
That would be sick. But just being in Sydney, I think playing for the Waratahs, that would be unreal.
You still playing a bit of golf?
Now and then, haven't played in a while, but yeah,
Still do better than me and you.
doing my best to get out there.
Can't be
We
mad,
We
man.
haven't had a game in a while.
We haven't. It's because you throw your clubs every time we play.
Yeah, it's 'cause my
I'm
dad
still
told
waiting
me
to get to one of your golf days. I'm always training. And
Oh yeah, all the Waratahs boys always dog it. They always want free tickets.
I don't think I've
No
got
boy.
another golf day left in me. Eh?
Nah.
Oh, it's so draining.
Give us your
Fucking
feedback.
Too much
setting
work.
it-
If you want another
so
golf
much
day, message
work.
us.
Do you boys
Don't
ever,
message me. I can't do it.
do you boys even playing that or not? Just
Nah. We
Organising.
just eat the subway.
The
But
first
it's just fucking draining.
the first year we did with Wendell,
Yeah, we did.
We had a
have
few holes with
round
Wendell.
Holes with Wendell. Then Wendell brushed us.
heavy.
No, I'm joking. Wendell's been good to us. He has been good. Anything else?
It's all good.
I think.
Benny, thanks for coming on, mate.
no worries.
We look forward to seeing you over the next few weeks. Shoot shield, maybe. You can't fucking grab my leg. I don't do that to you.
Block it out, mate.
Yeah. Hey, well, imagine when you're kicking for a
Fuck
goal
it
from the
out,
sideline,
mate.
2027
Exactly.
motherfucking World Cup against England to Johnny Wilkinson at back. Okay?
Give it back.
You think Donno's going this screaming with a beer can? No.
Yeah.
Stop and tell him to shut up.
Wendell's been a great supporter of us. Benny, thank you for your time. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, boys.
We look forward to seeing you, obviously, Shoot Shield, obviously, live and free, Stan Sport.
Yep.
And then, hopefully, Wallabies call up in the new, not too distant future, maybe spring tour at the end of the year, and then best of luck with your career going forward. Thank you for having me.